Zokimemi, you. Lion, can it about going by them? 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 And what this means is that lion came to the town and saw a child and defeated the child. Now, what I want to talk about is concerning the origin and the name Biafra. You know, many of our people, mostly my Izon people, have this notion that Biafra, maybe because of the beginning of the name, because it sounds Bia, that it is an Igbo stuff, but it has a lot to do with the Izon. In fact, the Biafra itself, the origin is from an Izon river, and that's exactly what I want to talk about. During the time and how this how Ojukwu came about Biafra, it actually started with one of our kings, the king of Nembe, the Mingiteme of Nembe, during the period when the eastern region was having some issues in the north. Our people were being killed. The Mingiteme of Nembe called Ojukwu and sat him down and told him that, see, we are tired of this thing. We are tired of these people. We cannot allow our people to be dying like this. So because of that, this is who we are. This is, he showed him all the documents that this is who we are. We have always been known as Biafra. And he told him everything, and the things that he told him comprised of, he actually explained to him how the Portuguese came about that name. When the Portuguese first came to our shores, because when the Portuguese came, they first of all landed in our area because we are the coastal people. So when they first came to our shores, what they met, they came through, there's a particular river. If you look at the African map, you see that the map cuts across from Northern Africa into West Africa. Then you see a kind of sharp edge. That sharp edge, after that sharp edge, they now go down, straight down to Southern Africa. Now, that sharp edge is where Biafra is. That sharp edge is Ijo territory. Now, it is in that sharp edge, the particular edge of that sharp edge is where the Portuguese came through when they were trying to have access into the region, into the land. And the particular area where they got to is a community called Kula. So when they got there, they met the people and they are like, what is the name of these people? What is the name of this place? What is the name of this river? Just like when the English people went to Warri and they are like, okay, what's the name of this? The Zoman there thought they were asking him what's the name of house. He said that it is Wari. So Warri, the Zoman told them that this is Wari, that is house. So they now called it Wari. In their own tongue, they pronounce it Wari, which in the spelling you still see it's very clear, kind of. So when they got there, the Kalabari people in Kula, they told them that this river is called Biaflo. They named it Biaflo, which is how do we find food to eat? Because that river, it has a particular kind of attitude, because it actually came from the sea and it dries up sometimes and it comes up sometimes. So when it dries up, they will not have food to eat. So they are like, okay, how do we get food to eat? That is fish. How do they make soup? How do they make soup when there is no fish for them to get soup? So now, but in the tongue of the Portuguese, they called it Biafra. If you look in some of the ancient maps, some of the ancient documents that have the name Biafra, you will see them spell it F-A-R. Sorry, B-I-A-F-A-R-A, while some spell it B-I-A-F-R-A. So that's just the it is from their own pronunciation. So they started calling it Biafra from that time. And now in the map before the Civil War and after the Civil War, that Nigeria decided to cut out the name from the world map. In the map, you will see it very clearly in the map before the Civil War. You see it very clearly. You see it written, the Bight of Biafra. And Bight is an English word. Now you begin to wonder, what is Bight? Bight, just like a place around a particular edge, the region, an area around an edge. Like for instance, if my elbow is like this, and this is the edge, this particular tip of my elbow, you say this whole area around my elbow is the Bight of this tip of my elbow. So if this tip of my elbow is Biafra, then this area is the Bight of Biafra. It is still the same representation like you have in ancient times when the Europeans describe Africa. They call Africa the gun because of the shape of Africa. It is that same place. If Africa is a gun, it is that same Bight of Biafra that is the trigger of the gun. So they used to call Africa the gun. So that particular spot where it is as if Africa cuts into two is the trigger of the gun, and that is the Bight of Biafra. And that place, that Biafra is taken from that particular river. That river is the river that joins all the Ijo tribes together. From that river, from that Kula river, if you go towards this place, you go towards Okrika, you go towards Boni, you go towards Opobo, you go towards Andoni. If you go towards this place, you go towards Nembe, towards Brass, into deep down Bayelsa, into Delta, into the Focados. So that river is the place that joins the whole of the Izon nation. So now this thing begins to it bothers me, because when an Izon man will tell you that he's not Biafra, I begin to feel like he's insane. If he really understands how the name came about, he cannot say it's not Biafra. Now, even when Isigboro was actually declaring the Republic of Niger Delta, the Republic of Niger Delta had nothing to do with any other tribe. He was only declaring a republic of the Izon nation. Is actually Izon Nation Republic, but he decided to call it Niger Delta. And when he was describing it, he said that this is the region, or this is the Niger Delta we shall consider is a portion of the Bight of Biafra, which means it's just a part. It's not the whole. It's not the whole part. The Bight of Biafra that we're talking about, it covers from that Ijo area, from all those warrior axis, into Igbo land, into what's it called, Cameroon, into Gabon, is that large. So this whole area, covering this whole area around that particular edge, that edge is what is called Biafra. So when Ojukwu was to call the new republic from the eastern region, he had to call the republic from that ancient name that our region has been known by, and that ancient name that we have been known by is Biafra, and the origin of it is from an Ijo river. So if you say that you are Niger Delta, there is nothing wrong. If you say that you are Biafra, it is only a wider picture. So there is this misconception of I am Niger Delta, I am not Biafra, I am this, I am not this. It is only a means to divide us. Now some people will be like, okay, yes, we can work together and we can work in unity, but we need another name. What other name apart from the name that you have been known by, apart from the name that is your ancient identity? Nigeria is something that is designed by a white man. They just design it and coin it. Biafra has been there. Biafra wasn't designed. The white men came and they saw a people. They saw a people that were living around an area, and they asked for the name. They asked for the name of that particular spot, and they decided to call the whole place according to that name. So, and that identity, we have been known by that identity for ages. If you up to about 16th century, if you check the map is still there till today. The area around Biafra. So, my people, I rarely do videos, but this thing has been something that it has been bothering me as an individual, as an Igbo man. It has been bothering me, and it has come to my notice that many of our people are ignorant of this. So I have decided to take out this time to talk to you. You that is an Igbo man, you that is an Urobo man, you that is an Ikwere man, you that is an Efik man. We are all Biafrans. We are the Biafrans. So, like what some Igbo people will say, they will tell you that you are more Biafran than they are, and that is the truth, because the origin of the name Biafra is from your place. The origin of the name. Now you say a Niger Delta. What's the origin of the River Niger? The origin of River Niger is not the Izo. River Niger only came to Izo to empty its waters. Biafra is the center of Izo. So, thank you very much for your time. Have a nice day. God bless you.
Are there connections between the Igbo and Kalabari? Facts about Ikoli Harcourt Whyte and the Kalabari Igbo history. There are many questions begging for answers regarding the Igbo and the Kalabari. Why do some prominent Kalabari men have traits and links of Igbo? People like Harcourt Whyte and Rex Lawson were all Kalabari men. The question is, why did they produce so many songs in Igbo language? Did they learn the language because of their interaction with the Igbo, or are there other factors that caused it? This research article is going to do justice to these questions. It will borrow and unearth some historical facts regarding the past and present of the Kalabari and Igbo. Brief history of Kalabari. There was nothing like tribe, ethnic group in the past. People lived anywhere they wanted, migrated and immigrated. People mixed and always retained their bloodline through names. Having this in mind, let's explore this topic. There are different versions of Kalabari history. Some claim that the Kalabari are Ijaw, others say that the Kalabari came from Calabar and settled in the area. The Kalabari is called New Calabar. It was called so first by the Portuguese, who interacted with them as they arrived there. An undeniable fact is that the Kalabari people, the aboriginals, were into fishery. Their major occupation was fishery because it was an island. They sold their produce in the bank of Imo River and also to other towns in the hinterland by exchanging them with food and other things. From fishery, the place turned to economic hub subsequently. The towns made up the Kalabari kingdom today were initially independent communities. They didn't have the same ancestry. This disproves the notion that Kalabari is an Ijaw ethnic group. No, Kalabari is not Ijaw. Kalabari presently is an independent tribe. Their language is not Ijaw but Kalabari language, which is a mixture of different languages. As you can see, so many Igbo vocabularies in their language. The reason for this will be explained in the course of this discourse. To make the point clear again, the places we know today as Kalabari are made up of different people. different communities. Some were conquered. You cannot talk about the prehistoric period of Kalabari Kingdom without mentioning the man known as King Owerri Di Nda. His name was corrupted as Owerri Dada. He began his reign. That was before the Amakri dynasty. Remember, the kings of Kalabari are regarded with Amakri title today. Now, before there was anything like Amakri dynasty, which was later to be founded, there was Owerri Dada, who ruled the area and also traded well in slave trade. In those days, Bile, which is close to Kalabari, although under the subgroup of Ijaw currently, was independent. In fact, they were in loggerhead with the Kalabari. Their king was King Ejike, who fought different communities and was feared. The name has been bastardized as Jike. Although today Bile is classified as Ijaw, some think they are Kalabari, but still, the history of this King Ejike and some names of the communities in Bile still give credence to the Igbo man called Ejike, who ruled at that time. The communities are 1. Dikama, 2. Madukiri, 3. Oramakiri, etc. There are a mixture of the Igbo and the Ijaw even in the names of communities under Bile. The question is, was this mixture as a result of intermarriage? The answer will be known by the end of this discourse. The Amakri dynasty. Before the Amakri dynasty was founded, the Elem Kalabari operated with what was called Amakobiri. This was an assembly that influenced decision-making and judicial functions. In about 1765, under the leadership of King Amakri I, the founder of the Amakri dynasty, the communities now known as Kalabari were fully integrated. His political power was extended to Ifoko and Ke, Tombia, Elembakana, Bukuma, later known as Buguma, Obonoma, Abonima, Udekema, later known as Degema, through conquest. It should be noted that the land called Abonima today was originally inhabited by the Aboriginals called Obonoma, a dialectal variance of Obodoma. It was part of the communities conquered by the Amakri I. Elem Kalabari became a slave holding. Remember, Owerri Dada was one of the major slave dealers. He also ruled before the Amakri dynasty. But one good thing is that for the purpose of trade, every non-Kalabari who came through slave trade was assimilated, and every adoptee who is hardworking could rise to leadership of the house. Gradually, slaves dominated some sectors and got married to elites and also their concubines. Kalabari became a mixture of folks from diverse places. Achievement became a yardstick to judge one's social status. The two strong leading groups, Odumba Boy and the Amakri group of houses, had strong interlineage rivalry that caused the disintegration of Elem Kalabari, and as a result, Bakana was founded between 1872 to 1882, Abonima between 1881 to 1882, while Buguma in 1884. The grouping and settlement following the disperse from Elem Kalabari was done without any form of biological relationship. Everything was mixed up. Amongst the founding fathers of different communities making up the present Kalabari were Don Pedros, who had blood ties from Umuaka in the present-day Imo State, Young Briggs, who had relatives from Isiokpo. Remember, Isiokpo was founded by Okpo Nwagidi, who is an Aro man. Chief Michael Broadfield Jack has relations with the Igbo. He was known as Abreba. Chief Q Young was called Oke Mbudu. He was traced to his Igbo root. Most prominent early house chiefs of Kalabari had blood relationship with the Igbo. Such names as Nwabara, also pronounced as Nwabarie, Kamalu, Mbakamba, Ama Ikiri, Edi Abali, Azumiri, also pronounced Asimini, Edimini, Oweri Di Nda, also pronounced Oweri Dada, were changed to English names or corrupted to sound different from their original meanings. We can as well talk about the Omekwe Horsefall Manuel, Ibanibo, Will Braid and Wokoma, also known as Nwoke Oma, nephew of Bob Manuel in Buguma. These were Igbo men and part of founding fathers of some clans of present-day Kalabari. Now, let us consider the houses of chiefs of Kalabari. The Igbo were part of founding fathers of chieftaincy houses. The names show some of the Igbo ancestry of Kalabari, although some were replaced with English and some were added Ijaw names. Buguma. Idilolo Marie Prince George Amakri, Tom George Amakri, Ogari Lawson, Anikeibi Dama Prince Batubo, Obiali Jaja Amakri, Okorosa Amakri, Atapaka Pepple Amakri, Igba Douglas Wananaku, Ichi Young Annie Wananaku, Amakriye Oboko Big Fowl, Enabio Buari George Goodhead, Akabu Young George Goodhead, Isokariari Goodhead, Amatoru Goodhead, Nefipiri Lawson, Ibama Lawson, George Douglas, Oru Adiri Horsefall Manuel, Ategoba Calabar Horsefall Manuel, Elebike, also pronounced as Elebuike, West India, Orikadibia, West India, Amieyofori Dokubo, also known as Omekwe Horsefall Manuel, Ikemejima Cottrell Horsefall, Edi Abali Enabiobuari Braid Harry, Otobo Whyte, Otaji Prince Will Amakri. Now Abonima, we have names like Obagi Manuel, Quakers Manuel, Nwokocha Douglas Amakri, Granville, Odumye Amabibi Don Pedro, Otaji Nta George Will, Fine Face Lolomari, Isowu Young Briggs, Anabara Ba Briggs, Best Man Briggs, Cyclope Briggs, Tubofia Standfast Jack, Oba Jack, Siri Young Jack. Then we go to Bakana, where we have Kombo Agolia Will Baboy, Bials Odumye Amabibi Dom Pedro, Black Duke Ibovama Fauche. Then in Obuama we have Sokari Harrison Tom Big Harry. In Tombia we have Tubofeye Karibo Owe Eddie Abali. Their descendants unfortunately didn't stake along the names of their forebearers. In fact, the event of war made many to deny their ancestry and shy away from anything Igbo. History was retold, names replaced with Ijaw and English. But a trip to some parts of Kalabari will let you know where some came from. Hardly will you see people from these parts who don't have family lineage with the Igbo. Equally, Harcourt, Whyte, and Igbo. From the above discussion, have you seen why it isn't something surprising that Harcourt Whyte sang in Igbo and became a prominent Igbo singer? Before we go deeper into the discourse about Harcourt Whyte, let us first consider the interview Father Angelo Chidi Unebu had with Professor Achinivu Kanu Achinivu on Sunday 30th April 2023 about Ikoli Harcourt Whyte. Achinivu highlighted that 1. Ikoli Harcourt Whyte was a Kalabari man who did not speak Igbo till he went to Uzu Akoli, where he learnt it. 2. His native name Ikoli is not an Igbo name but Kalabari, which means prison, because his mother gave birth to him in prison. This research article will by no means debate the point raised by Professor Achinivu Kanu Achinivu. Granted, Harcourt Whyte was born in Abonima. Briggs, one of the 4 major house of chiefs in Abonima, and the Briggs descendants of Abonima had their roots in Isiokpo, founded by a man called Okpo Nwagidi. Till date, Isiokpo still speaks Igbo. In Abonima, their dialect has so many Igbo expressions and similarities. This is not by accident or borrowing, but core and natural. For instance, they call Okazi Ukazu, or Fosup is what they call Afo, Oha is Oha, and other similarities. Culturally, they are more in proximity with the Ijaw and other Kalabari and riverine neighbors than the Igbo hinterland, which is as a result of acculturation. Not every Abonima man is Igbo, but the ancestry of many prominent Abonima men could be traced to Igbo bloodline. Ikoli Harcourt Whyte didn't speak Igbo as a second language but mother tongue. The argument that he learnt Igbo in Uzakoli has no linguistic base, going by his mastery and expertise in core Igbo language. He was born in such a historical environment as explained on this article. His lineage has a link with the founding fathers if traced. Let us briefly discuss his journey. Ikoli Harcourt Whyte was born in 1905. He was diagnosed of leprosy when he was 14 in 1919. He had begun his music and developed more on it in 1920 when he was taken to a hospital in Port Harcourt. Leper home was built in Uzuakoli around 1932, when Harcourt Whyte was already 27 years old. This indeed disproves the notion that he learned Igbo in Uzuakoli. Harcourt Whyte had started singing in Igbo prior to his sojourn in Port Harcourt and Uzuakoli, and by no means was his Igbo that of one who learned it as a second language or as an adult. It is naturally inherent and linguistically acquired. He produced most Igbo religious songs because he was well rooted to his ancestry. His Igbo-ness was not by chance but natural expression of one's identity and reality. Someone who recorded over 300 songs, and majority were in Igbo. Such feat is not possible if he had learnt Igbo in Uzuakoli when he was already 27 by the time Leper's home was built in Uzuakoli. Cardinal Rex Lawson. You cannot talk about the high life of the 50s and 60s without mentioning Cardinal Rex Lawson. He was born in Buguma, one of the communities of Kalabari. His mother was from Owerri, while his father was from Buguma. Some may argue that he spoke Igbo as first language because of the influence of his mother. That is untrue. Igbo was spoken by many in that axis. His father was of the house of chiefs in Buguma. There are others who don't have mothers from any of the designated 5 states presently called Igbo land, yet their identities cannot be washed off. Remember, Buguma, Abonima, Degema, Tombia, etc. were all under Owerri province during the colonial period. Some people's fathers had no link with Igbo, but their mothers. There are cases of intermarriage between the Kalabari and Igbo. It's another factor for the relationship, but something core and historical is the basis, and that has something to do with ancestry. Today, we have Nimi Dinkpa Briggs, a Nigerian academic scholar and emeritus professor of obstetrics and gynecology, a former vice chancellor of Uniport in the year 2000 to 2005, chairman of the River State Economic Advisory Council, is from Abonima. He is of the lineage of Briggs, whose relation is of Isiokpo, founded by Okpo Nwangidi of the Aro, who migrated from Ozuzu Eche, also known as Eche, and founded Isiokpo. Many Kalabari, especially those in Abonima, Degema, Buguma, Bakana, Obuama, Tumbia, can easily trace people around to their Igbo roots. There is Kalabari Beach in Oguta, Imo State. Conclusion. Contrary to the widely spread notion that Kalabari is an Ijaw tribe, this research work gives detailed information of history of Kalabari Kingdom. Not every Kalabari has Igbo ancestry. Instead, the present-day Kalabari is a mixture of people from diverse areas who intermarried and procreate. During the colonial government, Abonima, Degema, Buguma, etc. were under Owerri province, just as I pointed earlier. The grouping of ethnic groups caused more confusion. Kalabari had aboriginals before others mixed with them. Some communities were conquered and made to join the kingdom by King Amakri I. One of those communities is where Ikoli Harcourt Whyte came from. Apart from the conquering, slave trade played major roles and we know the strength of the arrow regarding that. Many from Igbo hinterland were taken there, and they procreated and also were initiated into the system. There are original owners of the land, others joined and multiplied. Today, Kalabari is a tribe of its own. Although politics want to wipe Igbo history there, but evidence and historical bond. Equally, Harcourt Whyte didn't learn Igbo. He's Igbo with a tie from Abonima. The original settlers of that place were called Obonoma, variant of Obodoma. Before they settled where they are now, but not without similarities with Abonima. Coming to Obuoma under Degema, it still retains its Igbo name. For a fact, after the war, many Igbo communities were replaced with Ijaw names. Some people, in order to avoid being associated with the Igbo, took Ijaw or English names, and their identities got buried. Till date, some people in Kalabari still identify their root, while many only ended up with English first and second names, just to shroud their identities. There are the Ijaw in Kalabari, there are the Igbo, Efik and others mixed together and procreated into a single kingdom. Kalabari as of today does not have single ancestry, but diverse people coexisting with the Aboriginals to form a kingdom. The Igbo traits are still maintained by those who wish to. Equally, Harcourt Whyte and Rex Lawson were a typical example of those whose ancestry are rooted with the Igbo. The issue of identity is personal, but history must be preserved. Research conducted by Mazi Ogbonnaya Okoro II for Chimefuna Research Center. Research conducted from 26th April 2023 to 13th May 2023. Presented on the 16th May 2023. Venue: Father Anglo Chidi Onegbu.
Good day, everyone. My names are Mr. Goswell Hastings Mark Jaja Amakri, and I am a Kalabari. The region this research was talking about is exactly my own territory, my own home. Yes, I am also here to affirm that the content of this very research that is brought to you by the BWOC is very much accurate, because I have a first-hand experience. And I'm talking about the various tribes that are found in Kalabari land. Yes, it is true. The Kalabaris are various people, different people from different ancestry, who come together to coexist as a single people. So it will be right for someone to say that Kalabari is a tribe on its own. I call it a hybrid. It is a hybrid on its own. Now, there are some experiences that I have been involved in that gave me the insight. And one of those experiences is when I went to Degema for a particular wedding ceremony. And it will be nice. I let you know that Degema is the name of a particular local government in Kalabari land, because Kalabari is made up of 3 major local governments, which is namely Asaritoru local government, also known as Asauga, Degema local government, also known as Delga, and Akukutoru local government, also known as Akuga. These 3 local governments make up Kalabari land. like I was saying before, I attended a wedding ceremony, and while we were in the church, there was a song that was being sung by the indigenous people of that particular community in Degema. And when they started this song, I couldn't understand any of the words being spoken. And at some point, I asked myself this question: was I really in Kalabari land, or was it that we have traveled beyond the borders of the Kalabari territories? But I was stunned when I discovered that yes, I was still in Kalabari land. Then I asked myself this question: what kind of language are they speaking? What song are they singing that I can't even understand a single word? And I could tell from the language that they were not actually singing an Ijaw song as at then. So I was still trying to understand what they were saying. And that was my first experience. That was when I traveled outside Buguma to the nearby local government known as Degema. Now, that not alone, there are also issues, or should I say, there are stories that were being told about various wars that was fought by the Kalabari people. And this war was being fought against the neighbors, who at the end, some were conquered and they were automatically converted into being Kalabaris. So when you are talking about Kalabari, you are talking about various people. And that is now giving me the reason why the Degema people spoke in a different language from what the other people from the side where I come from, which is Buguma, actually speak. And then another insight is this: if you are in Buguma, you will understand that the Buguma is like the hub of the Kalabari land. Buguma is just like the capital territory, because the Amayanabo of Kalabari resides in Buguma, talking about the Amakris dynasty. And the Amayanabo of Kalabari, who is the Amayanabo of Buguma, is the overall king, while other regions also have their various kings which also submit to the Amayanabo of Kalabari. And when you consider this fact, then you will understand that the Amayanabo of Kalabari, to be the overall king, can only be achieved via a conquest. So there must be a conquest for such possibility to have been there. And the compounds that were mentioned, like the Wokoma Polo, we use in Buguma, we use the word polo to identify compound. So whenever you hear Jacqueries Polo, it means Jacqueries compound. If you hear Wokoma Polo, it is Wokoma compound or Boko. And according to this article, these are names of the founding fathers. And if that is the case, I think I also give a confirmation to this article that yes, in that particular aspect it is correct. Wokoma Polo is a compound that I well known. I have visited severally. And as a matter of fact, when you are in Buguma, even a child can recite the names of the compounds that make up Buguma. They can even take you to these very compounds themselves. It is not that difficult to confirm. So on that note, if Wokoma does not mean anything in my Kalabari dialect, then the claim that Wokoma means Nwoke Oma, which is an Igbo dialect, is welcomed. And we have other names like that in Kalabari land, that you hear people bear names like Otaji and Co. These are names that are originally not Ijaw dialect, rather they are Igbo. Even Asari Dokubo himself got a title from his lineage, which was Edi Abali. Edi Abali is an Igbo name, not an Ijaw name, but these are names of people, possibly founding fathers in Kalabari land. So I am totally in support of this particular research, and I give it a thumbs up. Thank you.